September 17th, 1859, San Francisco. A man walks into a newspaper office wearing a fancy military uniform he bought from a thrift shop. He hands them a piece of paper. It says he's now the Emperor of the United States. The newspaper prints it as a joke. But here's the weird part. The entire city starts treating him like a real emperor. For 21 years, San Francisco has an actual emperor. He prints his own money. Restaurants accept it. He gives orders. People follow them. When he dies, 10,000 people show up to his funeral. This actually happened. America had an emperor, and everyone just went with it. You're listening to Wait, That Actually Happened, where we prove history is stranger than fiction. I'm your host, author Daniel P. Douglas, and today we're talking about America's only emperor, Norton the First. Okay, so let's talk about San Francisco in the 1850s. This wasn't the tech city you know today. This was Gold Rush San Francisco, the craziest city in America, maybe the world. In 1848, they found gold in California. By 1850, San Francisco went from 1,000 people to 25,000 people. Ships would arrive, and the entire crew would run off to find gold. The bay was full of empty boats. It was a city where you could get rich overnight or lose everything just as fast. There were no real rules. People were making up society as they went along. Enter Joshua Abraham Norton. Norton was born in England, grew up in South Africa, and came to San Francisco in 1849 with $40,000. That's like $1.5 million today. He was a smart businessman. He bought and sold stuff, made good money. Then in 1853, he tried to corner the rice market. What's that mean? He tried to buy all the rice in San Francisco when there was a shortage. The plan was to sell it for huge profits when people got desperate. Smart plan, except a bunch of ships full of rice showed up unexpectedly. The price crashed. Norton lost everything, every penny. He disappeared for a few years. Some say he went a little crazy. When he came back in 1859, he wasn't Joshua Norton anymore. He was Norton the First, Emperor of the United States. Emperor Norton the First. I promise this is real. So, when Norton walks into the San Francisco Bulletin newspaper office on September 17th, 1859, wearing that old military uniform with gold buttons, he hands them his announcement. At the request of a large majority of the citizens of these United States, I, Joshua Norton, declare myself Emperor of the United States. The newspaper thinks this is hilarious. They print it. But then something amazing happens. San Francisco says, sure, why not? Norton starts issuing orders. They called them decrees, real emperor stuff. His first big one, he dissolves the United States Congress, just sends them a note saying they're fired. Congress ignores him, obviously, but San Francisco newspapers print every decree like it's real news. Next, he orders the army to arrest Congress. The army doesn't show up, so he fines them. Still nothing. So he abolishes the Democratic and Republican parties. But here's where it gets good. Norton doesn't just make crazy laws. He makes good laws. In 1869, he orders a bridge to be built from San Francisco to Oakland. Everyone laughs. That's impossible. But 60 years later, they build the Bay Bridge exactly where he said to build it. He orders a tunnel under the bay. They build that too, eventually. It's called BART now. He makes it illegal to call San Francisco Frisco. San Franciscans still hate that nickname today. The city doesn't just tolerate Norton. They love him. Restaurants give him free meals. They put up brass plaques that say, by appointment to His Imperial Majesty. Those plaques become good for business. People want to eat where the emperor eats. Theaters reserve seats for him on opening night. When he walks in, everyone stands up. He inspects the city every day, checking sidewalks, making sure police are doing their job. People wave. Good morning, Your Majesty. The city prints his own money, not the government. Local printers just make Norton dollars with his face on them. Bars and restaurants accept them. Today, those bills are worth thousands to collectors. When his uniform gets shabby, the city government, the real government, votes to buy him a new one. Tax money for the emperor's clothes. He has two dogs, Bummer and Lazarus. When Lazarus dies, it makes the front page. Mark Twain writes the obituary for a dog. One time, Norton stops a race riot. Chinese immigrants are being attacked. Norton stands between the angry mob and the Chinese. He starts reciting the Lord's Prayer. Just keeps praying until everyone gets embarrassed and goes home. The police even give him special treatment. When a new cop arrests Norton for being insane, the police chief apologizes. The newspaper headline reads, "Police arrest His Majesty. Outrage." They release Norton immediately. The police chief says all officers must salute the emperor from now on. For 21 years, this goes on. Norton issues decrees. The city follows some, ignores others, but always plays along. He's not hurting anyone. He's making the city more fun. In a place full of con artists and criminals, Norton is honest. He's their honest emperor. On January 8th, 1880, Norton is walking to a lecture at the Academy of Sciences. He drops dead on the street. He's about 65 years old. The next day's headline, "The King is Dead." Not "Crazy Man Dies." The King is dead. When they search his apartment, they find almost nothing. Some fake gold coins, a few dollars, letters from other world leaders, probably fake, but who knows? And tons of his decrees carefully written out. But here's the beautiful part. San Francisco gives him a real emperor's funeral. The city's richest businessmen pay for everything. He gets a rosewood casket, a fancy cemetery plot. The funeral procession is 2 miles long. 10,000 people show up. The city has 230,000 people total. That's like everyone in town, either at the funeral or watching it pass by. The newspapers print special editions. Businesses close for the day. Flags fly at half staff. This isn't a joke anymore. The city is really mourning. And Norton's legacy? It's real. The bridge he decreed, built. The tunnel, built. He ordered California to join the League of Nations before the League of Nations existed. California becomes one of the founding places for the United Nations. He ordered Christmas to be celebrated properly. San Francisco becomes famous for its Christmas celebrations. In the 1930s, they have to move graves for a construction project. They move Norton's grave, and 60,000 people show up to the new funeral in the middle of the Great Depression for a man who'd been dead for 50 years. You know what's amazing? We still do this exact same thing today. We just call it different names. Think about it. What's a social media influencer? Someone we all decide is important for no real reason. They say stuff. Millions of people listen. They sell products with their name on them. They make up rules for their followers. That's Emperor Norton with Wi-Fi. San Francisco understood something we forget. Sometimes playing along with harmless weirdness makes life better. Norton wasn't hurting anyone. He was making the city more interesting, more fun, more human. Today, we'd probably call him mentally ill, get him treatment, medication, make him normal. But San Francisco in the 1860s said, "You want to be emperor? Cool. Don't forget to inspect the police station today." And honestly, Norton probably did more good as a fake emperor than most real politicians do with actual power. He stood up for immigrants. He promoted public works. He made people happy. Maybe we need more Emperor Nortons, people who are so genuinely weird that they make normal life more interesting. Even today, people leave flowers on his grave. There's a plaque on the Bay Bridge that honors him. In San Francisco, Emperor Norton is still royalty. Imagine if someone declared themselves Emperor of America in 2025. They'd go viral instantly. Local man declares himself emperor, and that's a good thing. BuzzFeed would do 27 times Emperor Norton II was totally right. Twitter would verify his account. The blue check would say Emperor of the United States, parody, except it wouldn't really be parody. He'd have a podcast, a YouTube channel. Decree of the day, TikToks. Merch drops with his face on hoodies. Cities would compete for him. Austin would offer him free housing to move there. Portland would name a coffee after him. San Francisco would say, "We had the original, thanks." Congress would invite him to hearings as a joke, then realize he makes more sense than most witnesses. News shows would interview him during slow news days. "Your Majesty, what's your position on cryptocurrency?" And somewhere, Mark Zuckerberg would try to buy exclusive rights to the Emperor's metaverse kingdom. So that's Emperor Norton I, America's only emperor, who ruled San Francisco with nothing but confidence and a city's willingness to play along. He proves that sometimes the craziest thing you can do is be kind to the harmless weirdos. Next week, we're diving into Victorian fern fever when all of Britain went absolutely insane over ferns. They nearly drove species extinct, women abandoned tea parties to hunt plants, and people decorated literally everything with fern patterns, even their cookies. Be sure to check out my Substack, Intelligence Bulletin from author Daniel P. Douglas, for more podcast series, written articles, and links to my books. Until next time, remember, truth is stranger than fiction, and history is weirder than you think. Thanks everyone for listening. Have a memorable day.